Good morning, traders. Happy Monday. Happy day after Easter. Happy day after a 3-day weekend. The markets are selling off. They do not like the President of the United States trying to oust the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell. Ironically, I think Jerome Powell is a Trump appointee. I'm not sure about that. Maybe you guys can confirm. Morning, Eric. Morning, guys. Just catching my bearings here. I've been sitting here about 30 minutes, and I've just been I took a couple of scalps. I have no trades here, guys, so I'm not worried about this huge sell-off. I'm going to wait for some structure to develop before I take any trades. But I caught about almost 300 bucks across my 5 XFAs, Top Step XFAs. For everybody who's new to the stream, welcome. For those of you on YouTube, welcome. I stream for the first 30 minutes for free on YouTube. Serious selling. This is gold. Let's go over to MES. So we're going to wait for some structure to be developed before we do anything on this, guys. So for those of you guys who are new, I trade for the first 30 minutes on YouTube. The rest of the morning is in the premium Discord. There is a 7-day free trial for that for anybody who wants to keep on trading with us after the YouTube closes up. These are 5 accounts I started 3 weeks ago in the live stream. I started these from scratch. They were 5 150K combines. Took about 2 weeks to pass them, and the goal was $9,000 in profit in all 5. And now I traded these last week, and I'm up over $4,000 in 4 of them. And I'm actually officially in payout zone. So today's day 5, and I'm already up over 200 bucks. So technically, I could take out a $8,000 payout today if I wanted. $8,000 payout, guys. That's pretty good. But that's not really my plan. I'm going to try and get it a little bigger, and I need some drawdown, right? So once you take that money out, I'll be left with only $2,000 in each account, and if I lose more than $2,000, all these accounts are blown. But technically, I could take out an $8,000 payment today. That is tempting. Very tempting. But we're going to trade according to the plan, not according to my emotions, all right? So I did take a couple of scalps on NQ this morning. And what trade did I take? Let's see if you guys can guess. I'm going to leave it up to the premium Discord, see if you guys can guess. What trade did I take on NQ according to this chart? 5-minute right up here. This is, oh, sorry. NQ. I took it on it was a price discovery short. I'm sure Chuck would have gotten that too if I didn't have the wrong chart up. But yes, correct. I took a price discovery short right here. We were respecting yesterday's extension. Look at that, almost the tick, right? I love that. And we were kind of chopping around with this lower band. So I was kind of scaling in above the band here a little bit. We got this move short. And I scaled out before we even hit new lows because I trade level to level. And that put me up over a little over $200 on my account. So almost $300 across 5 accounts. It's about 1,500 bucks so far today. Now I'm going to let this price action play out. We have all morning. It's 10 a.m. All right. We don't even have an initial balance yet. All right. So I'm going to wait for some good opportunities. There was a big rejection in gold. We do have an IB. It broke IB. It wicked. Okay, this is a return to, this is a fade value area extreme setup on gold. Perfect. Broke, wicked, snap back into value. And you could have caught 40 or 50 ticks on that rejection. In all honesty, I did take that. It was a very small winner. very, very small. I'll show you my trades here. Come on. Let me get organized over here, guys. I got a lot of windows in here between the streaming and all this stuff going on. So let's pull this up. There we go. Let's go to my orders. All right, so I had a couple of golds here that I covered. So that went well. I shorted this fade value or extreme setup when we broke the initial balance. We pulled back inside this nice down move, but you know, it looks like they're supporting the bid. We'll probably break out and go higher. I'm using Top Step X and asks what platform I'm using on my prop firm account. This is Top Step X. This comes with a Top Step account. It's really nice. I find it really a great program for a prop firm platform. I really like it. I think it's just as good as TradeAbate's web-based or NinjaTrader's web-based. It's really powerful. And there's no commissions, guys. 0 commissions if you use Top Step X. Now, there's still exchange fees, but there's no commissions. So I don't pay any commissions in these accounts. So that's a pretty good proposition. Wayne, good guess. Price discovery short. That's right. Good morning, Jarmo, Jordan, Carlos. Guys, welcome. Welcome to the YouTube stream. Glad to have you guys. JJ, you know, JJ asked, do I still use Bookmap? I've played around so much with Bookmap. I love Bookmap, don't get me wrong. I just really haven't been able to derive a consistent edge using it. I think it's really cool and it's great to watch. But I'm able to establish my levels using these charts. So I don't use Bookmap. I go on the Bookmap wagon again no, this looks like it could be a long, you got to be careful up here. And because we are at all-time highs, we are, you know, look at the long term, you know, look at these setups off the weekly VWAP here. I mean, this is total price discovery on all time frames. All right, we're even outside of value on the session here. All right, so you got to be very careful with shorts up here. This is a very strong market, and we are up 3-spot quarter on gold. We could go up another 2%, guys. You know, there's still. Yeah, no buyers on NQ. Interesting. The only thing that has buyers right now is Russell. Dow, they're starting to step in a little bit. Let's go back to our indexes here. Dow is the... All right, so we're starting to develop a little structure here. Nothing crazy on the Dow. Let's look at NQ. A little bit. But we are like in free fall. And we are in price discovery to the downside on all time frames on the indexes, guys. So I'd be very careful about buying down here. So we are below value area low on the session. We're below the bands on the session. We're below the weekly VWAP. Well, that's, I guess, the same as the session because it's Monday, so that doesn't really matter. And on the daily, you know, this is total Dow trend after we could not break back into value here. JJ asked, do I usually wait for IB levels before taking a trade on bigger days like this? No. I mean, I probably recommend it to people who are newer to the system and the strategy to have more information before taking trades. But, you know, I'll take trades. I took a trade on NQ and gold already this morning. I'm up almost 300 across 5 accounts. So I took this price discovery short on NQ, and I took this rejection of initial balance on gold right here. Returned right back to point of control. All right, let's watch this structure get developed, guys. Let's see if we get any good trades. Oil looks like it's trying to get back into value here. Might get a good long in oil there. That's kind of an interesting play. Return to value setup. I take a couple of micros here on oil. See if we can get back up to this value area up here. We drop a all right. I was not really doing much of anything. Just 2 micros here, nothing too crazy. This is a return to value setup. Probably not going to squeeze that much out of this thing. And it's moving very slow. There it goes. So that was a return to value setup on oil. All right, break into value. And I just scalp it level to level, so I'm just looking to grab a little something on my way up to the point of control here. Little baby scalp. Put me up pretty much almost at 300 to the dollar. My profit target is $1,000, guys, across all 5 accounts. I shoot for a $5,000 profit day. I use TradingView for charting and then Top Step X for execution. Correct. Unless I'm trading my cash account, then I use NinjaTrader. Okay, but I've been mostly trading these combines and these XFAs now, Top Step, for the stream because, you know, a lot of people are trading prop firms, which is cool. I think prop firms are fantastic. I think it's a great way to mitigate your risk and learn and, you know, try and find consistency. So I trade them along with you guys, but not only that, to show you how doable and possible it is. I started these accounts from scratch as combines, and the guys who have been here for a couple weeks watched me pass, you know, hit my profit target each day. I took 2 weeks to pass the combines, guys. I didn't rush it. One good trade at a time, passed them in 2 weeks, and then I traded the XFAs last week, and you know, I'm technically in payout today, guys. I could take out an $8,000 payout out of those accounts today if I wanted to. I've traded them 5 days. Each day has been over $200. I have over, so annoying to try and drag my screen back over to this. So you're allowed to take 50% on your first couple payouts. So 50% of this is $2,000 times 4. That's $8,000. Now I could take that payout today, lock in my $8,000, and then treat them as 50Ks for the next couple of days. Lower my size, lock in that money. That's kind of tempting. Yeah, I still, you know, that layout is a really good layout, Arthur. If you like that, Arthur's talking about I use a 15-minute and a 1-minute. And you're talking about the split screen, right, Arthur? That's where I split it right down the middle. The left is the 15 and the right is the 1 minute. You have the higher time frame VWAPs on the left and the execution session VWAP on the right. Yeah. Yeah, that's totally cool. Nothing wrong with that. So everything's remains the same. I've just kind of evolved this setup a little so I can add more volume profile stuff. And then the daily just for context. We don't trade off of this. Somebody had that question last night. You know, why do we look at the daily? And I was like, well, we don't really trade off of it. But when I'm switching through instruments, it helps me with context. What's been going on? What's the overall big picture? Get rid of this one. What's the overall big picture? All right, we're starting to build some structure here, guys, in NQ. Starting to like a little bit of a position here. Let's see what happens. So I grab a little bit of something here. I put myself at break even there. So we get a nice little pop up. Have some buyers come into the market. Already locked in a couple of profits here. Oh, it's doing that thing again. All right. So there's been a bit of a rejection there. I already got out, took my profits. We now have a point of control right here. Okay, if we can't get past the point of control, we can expect to go to the previous side of value, which is down here. That's exactly what happened. If we can break through, we'll go to the other side of value. And then if we could break through all this nonsense, we'll probably go up to the lower band. But I'm watching NQ here. Longs. Trading this micro distribution. This is all scalping. I think, so Eric's saying if we take point of control on NQ, do we fade back to value? Not necessarily. So, this is the distribution we're trading in right here, essentially. So we're just going to go up to here. Now, if we could break and show acceptance up here, then I would expect back to lower band. But not until we break this, pretty much 980 on NQ. Because we've now built this structure, so we're in a mini value area right here. We're spending time in here. Now we can totally break and expand this to the downside. So scalps, little scalps are on the table right now.
Shane Bound, Mexico says, I didn't reach a final agreement in Trump Court.
MW asked on the YouTube, do you teach your complete strategy in my paid Discord? I do. And you can actually get a full week trial and you have access to the entire course and everything in the free trial. So I don't charge anything for that. You guys can literally go through the entire course for free. If you like it, stick around after the free trial. If not, you can move on to other things. So I give a ton of value, guys. And the Discord, you can get a taste of everything absolutely free. So it's just for people that like it, they find the value, and they want to stick around. So you don't have to pay to find out. All right, we're selling off pretty ugly. Now what we got to be careful on longs here is a day like this. I mean, look at that. That's an hourly candle. That is ugly. So we got to be careful of, you don't want to get caught off sides on that. Oh, look at that. Beautiful VWAP bounce on oil, Tony. Tony caught that. IB high and VWAP. I wasn't even watching. Tony, you should have brought my attention to it.
if we do find one.
Look at that. Great setup. So that's a VWAP bounce to the short side combined with IB high rejection and the top of this value distribution. I mean, that's an A+ setup right there. 30 ticks on oil. Great trade, Tony. Sammy's got a price discovery long. We got the back test to IB. Let's see if it holds. I like it. Good trade, Sammy. Probably pretty easy to manage your risk here too. If it doesn't stay above IB, I'd get out. But otherwise, see if you get the leg up, you know, maybe take some profits towards this high here for a scalp and then see if you can hold a runner. But we'll see if there's enough buyers to keep this thing going. Otherwise, it could just be a little, oh, there you go. Let's see.
Shane Baum says Environment Minister meeting with US EPA on.
We've still kind of developed a distribution area that we're trying to break out of. Let's drop an anchor here, right? So there it is. So we got to extend this distribution. So there is a little bit of a problem with this one. This is not A+. I would consider it a B for a continuation play. But it would have to expand this distribution, which it totally could do. Tony asks, how do I add the volume profile? It's just a drawing tool. I keep it in my favorites, anchored volume profile, and then I'll drop it from the beginning of the regular trading hours.
We do have a video. We'll put it out on the feed for you. Again, Trump and First Lady Melania host White House Easter egg roll.
Nice. I tried your VWAP strat, and it's working. I passed a demo on FTPO within 24 hours. Good job. Are those different time frames? These are all different time frames, right? So this is the hourly with a full session volume profile. This is the 5-minute with a VWAP starting at the 6 p.m. futures open, and then I'll drop a initial balance and a volume profile at the regular trading hours open. This is a daily, and this is a 30-minute with a weekly and monthly VWAP. You can find this specific layout in the Discord. They're shared in there.
And that video is
the link is in the description for you YouTube guys.
Sort of commentary.
I use the anchor, Tony, because then it updates automatically as the candles materialize. I don't have to keep changing it. The range, you'll have to keep moving it to the right manually. So range is good for back testing. We can kind of see a little section of what data we had. It's not really good with live trading. So what I'm worried about here is this just bleed out on the indexes and getting caught off sides. So I'm going to be patient with the indexes, guys. Let's put in some structure. You know, we do have another distribution forming down here, which is interesting. Kind of like that. See if we can get a little move on NQ here. This is ES. So now it's got to try and break back into value here. This previous distribution that was built. Man, my copy trader wasn't on. I just took that really good trade in just one account. All right, let's wait for some buyers to step in here. We had them, but they're just not strong enough. I'm gonna use the restroom real fast. I'll be right back. So you guys might be asking, like, why aren't we short? The market's going down, right? So there's really no good setup short, for one. The setups were up here. Maybe you could have tried. There really wasn't a good entry. We've been kind of going straight down. So the better option I see right now is trying to, scalp the mini distributions we're forming. And, it's really hard to short down here because if you trade NQ enough, when we sell off like this for long periods of time, almost inevitably there's this vicious short squeeze that happens. And just rips the faces of everybody who's short. Everybody's, scrambling to cover their short positions.
So 5 minutes ago, to were expected to hear from Trump at the Easter egg roll. The video is out on feed for you to watch.
Let's see if we get some. A little bit of a runner down here. That one out. Oh, just short of 400 bucks. Another $600 to go, guys. All right, do you execute your trades from the 1 minute or the 5 minute chart? I execute from a 5 minute chart. I usually don't go any lower than a 5 minute. It keeps me patient. 1 minute I find just very busy. It causes me to try and catch every little wiggle because I'm a scalper, right? So, I see a lot of opportunities to begin with. The 5 minute kind of calms me down a little bit to wait for the best of the best scalps. So I wait for the bottom of these distributions, grab my couple ticks, and then move on. 1 minute, I'll just, I take way too many trades. Jordan asks, how do you guys set up the VWAP? Why doesn't show up on my trading view? It says no volume data. Jordan, it sounds like you might be trading Forex. The big problem with Forex is that there is no volume data. There's no reported volume. There's no centralized exchanges. So you're at a little bit of a disadvantage trading Forex for that very reason. So I highly recommend Forex traders to join us on the light side over in futures, where we have a little bit better of an edge. For those of you that are stuck on Forex, that's okay. Just get yourselves a $7 data feed over on Trading View, $7 for all the future symbols. And you can watch this volume data and then trade your Forex accordingly because they do flow together. Yeah, Jordan, I'm out here. I am like the Jehovah's Witness of futures traders. I try and get everybody to convert. Bringing everybody over to futures. Of course. So Innocent asks, what about the volume profile? Is that session volume? And guys, the reason I read out the questions like this, not to be annoying, it's because I record all of my live streams for the premium members. So when they watch the live streams to study and review, it's not just this random talking. They have a context of the question. So the left here, this is the entire session, right? This gives me an idea of where price is relative to previous sessions. I can kind of see the bigger picture here of where the big distributions of value areas have been over the last couple of sessions. And then for the 5-minute chart, this is going to be the regular trading hours open. So for stocks, 9:30 a.m. That's the volume profile I'm going to use.
So surely expected to hear from Trump again. Well, the video is there on feed.
Man, that was a great oil short, Tony. Good job on that, man. A little bit of choppy action here on gold. I don't know if you stayed in this one, Sammy. Looks like we had a little bit of a stop run before it reclaimed. I like it even better because of that behavior. But the problem is we have this distribution here on gold, right? So following our principles, it's gonna, we're still in this value area on gold. Oh yeah. Well, the real setup next was fade value area extremes, which doesn't seem to happen. All right, guys, 10:30. We have our initial balance in the stock markets. Let's see how this plays out. Let me clean this up a little bit. So we're at the top of this other distribution here. If we can break into this, we'll go to point of control, the other side of this distribution. So, we might have a lot of chop down here, guys, unfortunately, based on the structure that's materializing here. Well, that doesn't mean we can't have a rip-roaring short squeeze through all of that. So anything's possible. I'm watching the behavior down here on NQ. Sure looks like it wants to go lower, doesn't it? See if it holds this value area or whether we continue to expand this. Oil, return to value maybe. Gold, not enough buyers on at all-time highs. Now you could have a huge sell-off in gold. Just be careful on that one. you know. Yeah, take a strike. I mean, we're getting sellers, but it's nothing crazy, really. We have a new point of control right here. So there's a lot of people getting in and out here, guys. That's the chop. I would like to see a revisit to this. You know, this is a 40 point move here, where we just continue to bleed. A little bit of a scalp there. I'm gonna put myself at break even. See if we can get the run up. Might give it a little more room. Nah. Very sleepy.
According to Axios, Trump is expected to speak with Netanyahu today and discuss the hostage deal and the nuclear discussions with Iran.
So this is a little bit of a low volume node right here. If we can break through this, 960 next stop. But this is natural resistance here on this mini distribution we've created. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Almost 600. One little trade at a time. Yeah, so it looks like we might be able to build some real structure down here. Now, I don't trust this thing over 91. There we go, 64. This is NQ, innocent. Gold is, we're at all-time high. This is a really tough place to trade gold. It's been kind of grinding up. Everybody on YouTube, I want to thank you guys for joining us this morning. If you want to continue watching us trade, we'll be over in the Discord. There's a 7-day free trial for that. If you guys want to check it out, we'll trade probably for another hour and a half or so. But if you're not in the Discord, be sure to join it. Conversation's always taking place in there. Thanks, guys. If you're going to continue trading, stay sharp, manage your risk, and I'll see you in the Discord. For our Discord members, we're going to keep on trading.